Akem's analysis is proudly brought to you by Sportsbet Montana. Sportsbet Montana is the exclusive betting partner of Akem's analysis and the Samuel Akem YouTube channel. They are also Montana's exclusive sports book for all your sports betting needs. Get tapped in with all the odds, spreads, or featured bets through Sportsbet Montana today. Your game, your bets, your state. Powered by the Montana Lottery.
Thanks, breakdown SkylineSportsMT.com. Samuel Akem joining us now. And you just caught up with a former Grizz receiver, so this is fun. We got to tease this one before we get into some of my questions for you. But big time honor for one of your friends and a guy that was a great receiver for the Grizz, Keelin White. Tell us what's going on up north of the border.
Man, so Keelan just finished his rookie season. He was a third overall pick to the Ottawa Red Blacks, and they didn't make the playoffs. Their team wasn't great, but he was one of the most outstanding rookies. There's nine. I think they picked one from each team because there's nine teams in the CFL, and he was the one that they chose from the Ottawa Red Blacks. And I don't know, it's just an amazing honor, and he's a pro. He's living on his own. It's just awesome to see. Because Keelan was a walk-on. I watched him when he first got to the University of Montana, and just to see how his career has progressed and to see him be a professional athlete now, it's awesome. So we had a really good conversation, got to catch up and talk a little Grizz ball as well.
Well, I know that when he was at Montana, I think a lot of people that watched him early on had sort of seen that potential in him. There was always the thought, like, this guy works like a pro, so he has a chance to maybe be a pro. Did you notice that when you were, because was he a freshman when you were a senior? Is that right?
No, he was a freshman in 19, actually.
Oh,
So he
that's
was
right. Because
pre-COVID.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you got to spend a couple of years with him. Did you see that in him when he was younger?
Oh yeah, you saw it, and I remember there's one distinct play. I don't remember who, in terms of the media, was at practice at that time, but he had made like a big jumping catch on the sidelines, and we were like, "Yo, that's different." And then if you remember, he was a walk-on who got put on scholarship before he stepped on the field during that COVID break or
Right.
whatever, 2020, because he didn't. He's talked about it before when he was on my channel last time. He talked about how he only had 1 year at Montana. His parents weren't going to be able to afford another
Right.
year for
Yeah, yeah,
him.
yeah.
So literally, he was like hoping and praying that he got put on scholarship, and he did. So, but yeah, you could see it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, no doubt. Well, speaking of great Grizz offensive players, I got three big questions for you that are sort of about the national landscape and where Grizz and Bobcat players and standouts fit into it. So right now, I think that there's three bona fide Walter Payton Award candidates that play for the University of Montana. I think it's the quarterback, Keali'I. I think it's the running back, Eli Gilman, and I think it's the receiver, Michael Wortham. If you were I asked this on Twitter too, and most of the responses, people just said nominate all three of them. But I do think you need to have a little bit of a push from the athletic department to like kind of boost up one guy.
Yeah.
If you were to boost up one guy, like who would you choose? Who's the guy that should be the leading Walter Payton Award candidate from the Grizz?
Man, it's kind of tough because
It's really
I,
tough.
I I think the obvious answer is Michael Wortham, but I lean towards saying it should be Ayat. And the reason I say this is because, but I don't think it's man. This is a tough question
It's so
because
tough.
what I was gonna say is I would lean towards Wortham because I think he's been the do everything guy. I think he has the best statistics on the team to get it, but I don't think he can win it not being a quarterback. So then that's why I lean towards Ayat. But I don't think statistically Ayat can win it over Cole Payton or Teron Dickens at Western Carolina. So it's like I don't know. I think Wortham is the obvious answer for me. A ton of rushing yards, a ton of receiving yards. Worthy, he's made a lot of plays in the receiving game as in the return game as well. And I just think, I mean, you turn on the games. Michael Wortham is a big reason why Idaho State they won that game. Sac State, you can even point to that game. He's a big reason why they won that game. There's games all throughout the season where he's made big time plays. And I think he affects winning at a big at a rapid rate. So I don't know. I think I lean towards Michael Wortham, but it's a hard decision to make.
It is a hard decision to make because who's going to have the best numbers in comparison to like their position group peers? That answer is actually probably Gilman
Yeah,
because he
right.
already has 13 touchdowns. Like if he stays on this pace, he's probably going to score somewhere between 18 and 20 touchdowns. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
averaging, a touchdown and a half a game, that's pretty impressive. That's going to get you in the national conversation. Ayat, I agree. The Payton Award has become a quarterback award,
Hmm.
so maybe putting your quarterback up there. right now he's throwing for about 280 yards a game. So right now he's on pace to throw for about 3,400 yards. He has 17 touchdowns. So if he stays on that same pace, he'll throw somewhere between 27 and 30 touchdowns. Those are really good numbers. But
He got 7 INTs.
right, and like, is he really gonna like? Is 3,530, let's say, is that good enough to win the Payton? I don't know because it's such a statistically inflated award, and there's also these offenses where, they're doing nothing but throw the ball. Western Carolina's like that,
Yep.
Monmouth's like that. So,
Yep.
he can't compete because he has a running back that he gets to hand the ball to. He has Michael Wortham who takes quarterback snaps. In terms of the impact on here's another conundrum I had too. I actually think that Wortham is probably the third guy in the race for the Payton because of the way that the other two guys are going to have better statistics compared to their peers.
Yeah,
I
right.
think I think Wortham's the front runner for Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year because
Ooh.
I think he changes the game more. And I also think that a lot of times that award goes to the best player, not necessarily the most statistically outstanding player.
Yeah. When's the last time in the Big Sky there was a non-quarterback win it? Has it been recent?
And I'm trying to think. Well, Lan Larison was the Offensive Player of the Year 2 years ago.
Oh, right, 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 right.
Even
Okay.
even though he got hurt, and then
Yeah.
Watt was the guy last year. There's
Yeah,
been a
right.
fair amount of non-quarterbacks that have won it. Also, the Big Sky has a precedent for this on the defensive side. There's been several times where the Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year did not win the Buck, and the Buck
Right.
winner was from the league, but they weren't the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, shoot, it happened at Montana State where they had two guys from the same defense. Caleb Schreibeis was the Buck Buchanan Award winner. Jody Owens was the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year. So there's certainly precedent for that on the defensive side, at least.
Right. Right. That's kind of wild. I think didn't something like that happen to Dante too? Where he wasn't the Big Sky, but he won the Buck that year when he won the
Man, I
Buck?
can't remember if he was. He was. I mean, he obviously definitely won the Buck. We know that.
Wasn't it Jonah from Weber State who won the
That's
Big
right.
Sky that
Jonah
year?
Williams from Weber State won Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year. That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Certainly. Who do you think's the front runner right now for the Walter Payton Award?
It's got to be Cole Payton. I mean, if you look at anybody else but Cole Payton, I don't have his stats put up right in front of me, but I mean, that dude is extremely efficient. He's not turning over the ball. He's got a ton of rushing yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, if you watch him play, some of the throws he makes are absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know if the people voting on the awards are actually watching these guys play, but Cole Payton is playing at an extremely, extremely high level. Like, he, by far, I would say, is playing the best ball at the quarterback position right now. Now, some people might say he's got the best line, he's got the best running backs, he's got
Sure.
the best receivers, like he's got the best coaching, and that's true. But still, somebody's got to go out there and execute because for as good as Cam Miller was, he never won the Walter Payton Award.
Right.
So I mean, you got to do it. And Cam Miller had similar weapons to his disposal. He had the best receiver in Bryce Lance. He had the best offensive line. I mean, he had a first round draft pick at offensive lineman, and he got beat up by Tommy Lot. But Cole Payton is playing the best ball at the quarterback position, even though he's not going to have the godly stats that Derek Robertson or Teron Dickens at Western Carolina is going to have. He still has been, to me, the most effective quarterback and the most efficient.
Well, I think he certainly asserted himself in that exact slot too on Saturday because I mean he had 250 yards passing. He rushed for almost 150. He actually
Yep.
didn't throw a touchdown because he ran in four of them. So
Four of them.
yeah, I mean he's putting up crazy good numbers, but it's the efficiency more than anything that I think is so impressive, right? But he completed what I think his first 12 passes
Yeah.
on Saturday night. So certainly he's leading the pack, I would say.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think of the impression around the FCS now after watching, it's funny because I think a lot of people hadn't watched NDSU yet because they had not had a sort of prime time opponent. They just been
Yeah.
rolling through subpar opponents. So people were just seeing scores and whatever. Then everybody got a chance to watch him on Saturday night, especially because the Grizz had already played. So a lot of Grizz people got to watch him. I think a lot of people from the Cat side of things were doing what we were doing, where you're split screening it and you're looking at both
Yeah.
these games. It's just interesting to me because NDSU is the defending national champions, but after one performance, now everybody's like, "Oh man, how are we going to beat NDSU?" I mean, was that affirming? You already thought they were the front runner because you've watched all of their games, but I mean, they just put a stamp on it on Saturday.
I've been watching this team since week one, and I, we cover the Big Sky, and I've been trying to show love to the Big Sky Conference and the Montanas and the Montana States and the UC Davises, but I just haven't seen a team that I think can go 60 minutes with them. And I've been thinking that for weeks now. And I felt kind of crazy saying it, but then to see everybody else validate it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, like it's confirmed. Like I don't know. I mean, Obviously, the game is played on grass. It's not played on paper, so that's obviously going to play itself out. But with what we're seeing right now, I don't know how you can say you've seen another team that you think can go 60 minutes and come out on top.
Last year they did what they did with a roster that was sort of in turmoil because they were getting poached all over the place by the
Yep.
portal. Some guys said yes, some guys said no, but they had this weird deal. They had a coaching change. They were under a first year head coach. There was like a lot of turmoil around
Didn't
India.
they have a
So,
new OC in DC too?
right, they had all this stuff going on, and they still won the Natty, and they beat one of the greatest teams in the history of the Big Sky to do it. So then when they take a jump forward this year, I'm actually not surprised because they don't have the two quarterback thing. I know Cam Miller was the man last year, but they still played
Yeah.
Cole Payton quite a bit.
Hmm.
Now that's just Cole Payton's show. They returned so many of those guys from the defensive side. And
Yep.
the thing that's crazy is don't look now, but they're probably going to be better next year too. I don't know if they have weight in the wings for quarterback, but all their linemen on both sides of the ball are not seniors. So they
Young
can take
guys.
another step forward. It's just crazy the level of consistency they've been able to attain.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. And you keep thinking like, man, like where do they find these guys? And maybe
Right.
it's not like them, maybe I just don't get it. I just don't get how other teams in the FCS can't find the similar offensive lineman. And maybe it's not the talent that they're finding. Maybe it's the development of the talent. I
Sure.
think you really got to tap into the strength and conditioning coach at North Dakota
That's
State. I
right.
think that's somebody who deserves a ton of credit.
Coach Kramer
Be,
deserves all the credit in the world, man. And that's the thing. As the legend goes, he's the guy that gets the final sign off on the body types. And he
yep,
says, hey, I can mold that guy. I can mold that guy. That's why their offensive line looks the same, man. All the body types have been these same structured guys. And then he
yep.
says, bring them to me and I'll get them ready and then we'll roll them out. And I think there's no coincidence. That's why they look so consistently impressive up front.
Oh yeah, you show me a good football team, I'll show you a strength and conditioning coach who's locked in.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, last question on that Grizz trio. We were getting asked this on Twitter. Ayat, Gilman, and Wortham. Are they better than Dalton Sneed, Sammy Akem, Samari Toure, and Marcus Knight?
L&M Fine Jewelry isn't just sparkle, it's tradition, commitment, and Montana craftsmanship you can count on. Whether you're celebrating a touchdown, an anniversary, or a new beginning, we've got the jewelry that makes every moment golden. Located on American Way in Missoula and Main Street in Kalispell, we're ready when you are. L&M Fine Jewelry is the official jeweler of Akem's Analysis and the Samuel Akem YouTube channel. They do a phenomenal job. It's a family-owned jeweler. Michael and Landy are the owners of L&M Fine Jewelry, and they do a phenomenal job. Please go check them out when you're looking to buy that special ring for that special person. L&M Fine Jewelry, your diamond destination. Oh, don't do that,
I
Coulter.
know, right? Because that's so tough, right?
Oh, man, it's tough. It's tough because Ayat doesn't run as much as Sneed. He could. I think he could.
He
He
could.
doesn't though. Um,
I think
and
part of
Eli
that's I
Gilman.
think that's part of the way they want him to operate too, though.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Snead was not, he had no handcuffs on him. They were like, if you run a run, go for it, man. And he rushed for like 700 yards 2 years in a row. Ayat could do that for sure.
He most definitely could.
I think that Brent Pisa said, "Hey, buddy, let's make sure you're standing upright first and foremost, and let's keep you in the
Yeah.
game."
And then with Eli, as a runner between the tackles, he's better than Marcus Knight. But as an all-around running back who can run in between the tackles, run to the outside, and catch it out of the backfield, I think Eli Gilman can do it, and I think he can do it at a high level. They just don't use him in the passing game as much
As night,
um as Knight.
right?
Knight was an integral part of the receiving game. Now, in terms of, and it's just so different. It's different. I honestly lean towards saying this duo is better because I really, really this trio is better because I really, really like Wortham. I think Ayat's a little bit stronger of a passer than Sneed, and Eli Gilman in terms of running the ball in between the tackles. I think he's a little better at that than Knight, Marcus Knight. Now maybe I'm being a little modest because make no mistake about it, me, Maury, Marcus and Dalton were some bad boys, but I really do like what Eli Wortham and Ayat bring to the table. I think I would honestly lean towards them. I would lean towards them because I don't
And
think. I mean, even as an offense, were we as explosive as this offense is necessarily?
here, that's the X factor is that like Marcus Knight is a really good dual threat running back, really good.
Yeah,
He does not have the top end speed like Gilman has. Like Gilman can hurt you between the tackles, but then he can also hit you, and then I mean, I have this one picture of him from Friday night where he's like almost parallel to the ground while he's making a cut because his balance
Yeah.
is so good. But then he's back to full speed. That's the thing that sets him apart from anybody really that the Grizz have ever had at the running back spot. And then the other thing is it's impossible. Somebody else texted in and asked, would you trade prime Samari Torre for prime Michael Wortham? And
No.
and I was like, man, Torre is way more diverse as a receiver. He's a way more
Mhm.
complete receiver. He's a better route runner, probably. He's a guy
Oh
that can
yeah.
wear you out in a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, shoot, the guy's an NFL draft pick. So, like, we're preaching to the choir here. Like,
Yeah.
he's one of the greatest players to ever play in the Big Sky. He got drafted.
Yeah.
But Wortham is the one of the great big play players I have ever seen, period. Not just the Grizz, man. Like the explosive ability in the open field and his ability to not only be straight line. Here's the thing: he's as straight line fast as like Tommy Malott, but he's got way more shift to him. He's got
Oh
way
yeah.
more jukies, and that's the thing is I don't even think Samari Torre can take the inside slant and beat 8 guys to the pylon like Michael Wortham did on Friday night.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that where you're just like, whoa, like that's where I
Yeah.
think that's why these guys are getting so much hype, though, right? That's why we're having this conversation because I don't know where these guys rank in terms of Grizz trios or whatever. They are for sure one of, if not the greatest, in terms of explosive plays, and that's such a testament to the coaching staff because they were not leaning into running an explosive play offense for several years, and now
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're scoring
Exactly.
almost exclusively explosively.
Oh yeah. And the reason I say Wortham is a little, I would lean towards Wortham over Samori, in terms of like what they can do. Because I know I answered a question yesterday with somebody, Brian Hunt asked me about it too. But the reason I say that is because Wortham can do so much. You can put him at the Wildcat. Now, Maury could be a returner, but we never really saw him do it at a high level. You can put Wortham at returner. You
Yeah,
can put Wortham in the slot. You can put Wortham in the outside. You can put Wortham at running back. We haven't even seen him at running back. Imagine Wortham at running back.
man.
He's just so versatile. I don't think you could. It's hard to replace a player like that.
And that's the other part that we have to acknowledge. And you understand this so well. All three of these guys are great because of all three of these guys.
Yep.
They're all great because of each other, man.
You
Like
can't key in on one of them.
Wortham is eating because teams are stacking the box against Gilman right now, right?
He gets
And
one on
that's
ones.
going to be the next evolution is when people are like, okay, we're not doing this. We're not letting Wortham score 360-yard touchdowns. Let's bracket Wortham. Let's bust him up on the line. Then what's going to happen? Gilman's
Eli
going to
Gilman's
go
gonna go for
nuts.
200.
Yeah, he's going to go for 175 and 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
And Ayat's ball skills, it's not just the throwing, it's the ball skills and the mesh and like the option game. That's the
Mhm.
thing that really, I think, just tears it up. Because like when they run that RPO and Ayat meshes it all the way to the last second, and then he can pull it and throw that dart right to the slant, that's where the defenses are just screwed, man. There's nothing
Yep.
you can do. You can't guard it.
Yeah, and his pocket presence has been phenomenal because obviously, the offensive line has been up and down this year, but his ability to move around in the pocket and evade sacks has really, really shown. And then, like one thing I think, I don't know if Dalton was as good at this. Ayat can throw on the run really, really well. Really well. Whether he's rolling to his left, whether he's rolling to his right, he is extremely accurate on the run. And I'd love to look at the PFF numbers. I've been waiting for them to put the Sac State game on there.
Yeah.
But he throws on the run really well. Really, really well. We've talked about it before as well.
Totally. Well, he does it different than anybody else that I've ever seen at this level do it too. Where Snead is so fast, but Snead would sprint to his spot and then he would do like the almost like the jump stop
Yeah.
to get his hip square.
Yep.
Ayak can like grapevine keeping his hip square to the line while he's like making his reads across. I mean, that's like pro stuff, man. Like there's very few
Yeah.
guys that can do that at any level of football. And he can do it. He makes it look flawless. That's the
You
part
know,
I'm the most impressed with is his ability to extend plays while still keeping his hip square to the line.
you know what I've been thinking and asking myself lately? Do you think Ayat is a pro quarterback?
Oh yeah,
You do?
he's a CFL quarterback for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not an NFL quarterback, but that's not a shot to him. Nobody is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's
there's
tough.
there's guys starting at Penn State and Michigan that aren't NFL quarterbacks. So that
Yeah. Right.
there's very few NFL quarterbacks, and especially when you got guys that are hanging on in the league in year 22, like Aaron Rodgers or whatever. It's just way less spots for guys to go have, right? I was thinking about this
Yeah.
the other day. There on Sunday, there was dudes that have been starting since I was in high school, starting still in the NFL. It's like I'm old, man. Like Matt Stafford, Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, like
Dang, that's
Andy
crazy.
Dalton. Like these guys are the quarterbacks of my childhood, and I'm like I'm a middle-aged guy now. It's crazy, man. It's that part. So there's just less opportunities, but I think that Ayat is certainly right there in the mold of some of those other
Mhm.
great Big Sky quarterbacks that have played up north, like Vernon Adams, Dakota Prukop,
Yeah.
uh,
Davis,
yeah,
Alexander.
Davis
He's
Alexander.
undefeated. That's what Keenan was telling me. He's 10-0 as a starter.
Totally. No doubt. Big Sky Breakdown, SkySportsMT.com. Okay, I got to ask you two quick questions about the Cats. First of all, I thought one of the things that stuck out to me the most after the Cal Poly game was listening back to the post game interview and then also talking to Brent Vegan on Monday. He was very critical of their performance. He said, "Hey, we're up 27-3. We got to throw the knockout punch. Like we have to
Yeah.
seal these games. Like we cannot screw around. Those two touchdowns we gave in the fourth quarter, not up to the standard. So what do you think of that approach? Because he's always had this approach, but he's been like doubling and tripling down on it about our standard is our standard. It's a national championship standard. It doesn't matter who we play. I just find it refreshing. Like he gets to the post game and it's not like, oh man, oh boy, we held on for one, good job. Or it wasn't like we got a convincing 2-score win. He was like, yeah, we won by 2 scores. Not good enough. We should have won by 4 or 5 scores. What do you think of that
Yeah.
approach as a head coach?
Honestly, love it. I
I
think
do
he's
too.
trying to keep his. I think he's trying to keep his team out of that mindset of being complacent. I think he's trying to keep them out of that mindset of like, oh, we're good, we won. Because at this point, Vegan's been to the top of the mountain twice now, and he hasn't been able to reach the summit quite yet. Getting to the national championship twice. I think under Vegan at this point understands there's a standard, and winning by 17 against a middle of the pack, bottom of the league team is not where our standard is at. Last year, they were boat racing people. They were waterboarding people, putting them out of their misery. And, they ended up making it to the national championship. I think, obviously, it's like, okay, we still won by 17, but did we leave some meat on the bone? And I think that's what he's trying to get away from is like, let's not leave anything on the bone. Let's strip it bare and let's make sure that there's nothing else that they can peel out of this. And I love that mentality. You need that mentality if you have a team that you think can be great, that can make it to the highest level, that can get all the way to the end. You have to have that type of mentality.
And Justin Lamson on Saturday he was 19 of 30 for 176 yards. But you and I watched the game together, and he was less than sharp, and it looked like he was
Yeah.
underthrowing balls. The commentators were talking about it, and Vegan was asked about it after the game. Tom Stewart from Skyline Sports asked Vegan, it seemed like Justin was maybe a little bit late, and Vegan's like, yeah, operationally, he was just a little bit late. I thought it was interesting that Vegan pointed that out as well and totally admitted that. But that was sort of the first less than exemplary performance of Lamson's career, and it was still totally solid. He's 63% of his passes threw a touchdown, but he has been nails. I mean like 76, 77% almost every night out. So what did you make of just his short throws? What do you think that could come from the quarterback position?
Honestly, it might be more complex than this, but I honestly think it just is the bye week. You're coming off a bye week. You've got some rest. You're trying to knock the rust off.
Totally.
You're playing against a team that you think you're better than, but I mean, we watched this Cal Poly team a couple of weeks ago. They got a ton of talent on that
So they're
squad.
good, right?
They're good. Two of the best linebackers in the conference, probably one of the best corners in the conference. I mean, they're extremely talented on the defensive end. They just can't get it. They just can't put it all together. But I think we saw a little bit of the talent of of Cal Poly kind of stand out. But also, I think it was just that bye week rust. I mean, 63% isn't terrible. He's 71, almost 72% completion on the season. So I think guys like this at times are going to bump their head. They're going to have a less than stellar performance. And as long as it doesn't become a trend, I don't think it's anything to be worried about. But I think Coach Vegan calling it out and calling a spade is definitely how you got to be at a coach, especially. I think, Coach Vegan was trying to give the team grace. You look at Oregon, South Dakota State, USD, Mercyhurst, Eastern Washington, he's giving them grace. But at some point, as we've seen right now, it's to that point in the season where there's only a few games left. You must win them all. You must win them by a ton of points if they're not, one of the top teams in the conference. And you need to start to look sharp. So I think that's what we're seeing from Brent Vegan. It's like, hey, we need to start to clean this thing up. Anything less than our best is never going to be good enough at this point in the season.
But he also knows exactly. He knows how good they can be. And when they're at their best offensively, they're lights out. I think that was the part he was frustrated with because there's some timing stuff that coming out of the bye. I also thought the lighting there was weird. So you wonder if that messes up the depth perception or anything like that. Mostly he was mad that they didn't slam the door in their face when they're up 27-3. The defense had only given up, I think, 4 first downs to that
Yeah.
point, and then they gave up back-to-back long touchdown drives. I mean, they just haven't been marched down the field and scored on other than Oregon like that
Yeah.
all season. And I think he was more saying this like this is a focus thing. Like this is something we need to adjust our focus on. It's not an operational thing. It's not a talent thing. None of those things. Is that we just lapsed in focus because we were up
Exactly.
big and we just got to slam the door. Okay, last question. This will be an inflammatory one. Who'd you rather have right now, Keali'I or Justin Lamson?
I got. And I say that just because one, they're 8-0. He's leading an 8-0 football team. Yes, they haven't played as good competition, but also too, like, I want to get off of this. Everybody keeps talking about this Montana State strength of schedule. The Montana State strength of schedule is only tougher than a lot of teams in the FCS because they have Oregon on their schedule, which
Sure.
they lost 59-13. I
And,
mean,
and
it's
South Dakota State, but I
South
totally
Dakota State,
understand.
100%.
Yeah,
South Dakota State, 100%. You know, South Dakota State, you put North Dakota, that's equal to, I don't even know if I would equal those, but let's say those are equal on Montana State schedule.
totally.
Montana State has NAU, who's another ranked team. Montana does not. So, and then they got UC Davis and all those. So I do understand they do have a tougher strength of schedule than Montana. But in the moments when the quarterback has needed to make a play, we have continually seen Ayat step up and make the play. I
Yep.
think we saw an opportunity where Lamson was in that same position. He necessarily didn't make the play. So that's why I would lean towards Ayat. And I know a lot of people will see that jersey behind me and think, no, that's why you chose Ayat. No, I've watched the games. I watched them play. I've watched both of them. Anybody who pays attention to my content knows that I'm watching both these teams. I'm watching both these quarterbacks. I'm watching it, and I've just appreciated what I've seen from Ayat in the clutch more than I've seen from Justin Lamson. That's really what it boils down to me.
Well, I totally agree. That's totally fair because I think that these two guys are two of the best quarterbacks in the country, certainly in the conference, but
Oh
in
yeah,
the country.
top 10,
I
top
think
15 for sure.
I think they both are doing exactly what their respective teams want and need and ask of them.
Yep.
But I also think that's where Lamson deserves so much credit is that he has stayed within himself and has not tried to do too much. And that's all they're asking him to do is, hey, you're just the point guard.
Yep.
Just dink and dunk and dime. And like he did, then he started throwing the ball down the field at the beginning of conference play and they started ripping teams. And guess what happened? He did that. When people want to know what happened with the Montana State run game, Justin Lamson threw for 260 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half against Eastern Washington. Everybody got out of the box. Then what happened? The Cats have rushed for 800 yards the last 2 weeks because they have to respect the downfield. So Lamson deserves all the credit for that. But you're right. I think that when it comes to like winning time plays, clutch plays where you needed them, Ayat has been the guy that's been the best in the conference so far. And it's been a cool trajectory to watch.
And let's be real, Culture. That's ultimately what it boils down to in
Yep.
football. What do you do in the moment when your best is needed? And
Yep.
and for Ayat's standpoint, we've seen his best when his best has been needed. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Lamson in as many situations. I would say we've only really seen him in one scenario like that. So give credit for him
No
for not
question.
allowing, like his team hasn't been in that position. Good for the defense, good for him. But when Ayat's best has been needed, when he's needed to make the plays, he has continually made it at the highest level.
It's totally true. I appreciate you for bringing that part up too. Ayat's been in more clutch situations because Montana's not even close to as good on defense as Montana State is.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right? Like Ayat has had to bail them out against North Dakota, against Idaho
Yep.
State,
Yep.
whereas Lamson's just been driving the car in cruise control. It's a sunny
Yep.
day, the highway is clear, and so we'll see. But I really like what I see at Lamson too, and I think that's going to be a cool storyline to follow because I think that both these guys are playing at a really high level. So I think that's
Can I say one more thing about that Cal Poly game?
of course.
I think also too with vegan, it's impossible not to be upset when the neighbors beat them, only allowed 9 points to this team, and
Right.
we obviously have the better defense, and we gave up 17 to this team. I mean, I think that kind of plays into it too.
Definitely does. And also there's the other factor where Brett Vegan basically mercy ruled every team in the league last year. I mean,
Yep.
they had about 9 of their 11 wins during the regular season that were, they were up 42-0 in the third quarter. It looked like a high school football game, 42-7, emptying the bench. So he knows what the standard is and like where they can get
Yep.
to. Now, do they have the guys to get there this year, I'm not sure, but I also think that nobody has the guys that they had the last couple of years. So I think that's what makes it all fun because I do think that's a sort of a revival, it's like a new era in FCS
Oh
football.
yeah.
Samuel, Kevin, here on the Big Sky Breakdown. Thanks for doing it, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.